All praises. Campbell na Tata nZambi ya Mazulu, kimfumo kyako Isa, nZambi mawaisha, nZambi ya kubenisha, nZambi monene. Bayeti Nkosi. I honor all of you. Kukwisi Yambote, welcome once again. Tusikamene, if it's morning time where you are. Betwabu, Dumalang, Salbona, Santisana. All praises to Tata nZambi, Kungutun, Sonina Nina Somanla, the creator of the heavens and the earth. We give honor to King Kongo, Kulu Kulu, for once again coming forth. You celebrating the Sambwadi, Mbote Sambwadi. We give honor to Tata nZambi and Pungu for what he's doing in this time. We're going to talk about where the world is at this current juncture, why there are many things that are being done to suppress the knowledge that we're bringing out, because everything has always been about interference. People don't understand that everything was designed to trick people into something that was never true. And we're going to get into that more deep about the inheritance. And so we're going to talk about the role that was played to deceive humanity about the inheritance of the Entoto, the earth, the world, and the whole concept of the lies of the last millennia, or whatever you want to call it, because everything's about, this is why they don't want to talk about the Temple of Set that's over here in America and all the other places, or he put up his house, including in our own land, where he should have never been. And we're going to get into that, because of course that's Kaina anyway. And the problems that we're having as a people to show the world the lengths that they've gone to buy off the leaders of the Bana Betu, so the Negroes, the black people. Remember, I said not everybody is the same, but at the same time, there's a intentional act to continue the process that many people are not aware of. Okay. So I give honor to all of you doing the Tata nZambi's work. For those who are continuing to teach the best way for us to return, we honor you. Give all honor to those of you who are waking up at this time. I welcome all the Bana Betu to be solely scattered to the four corners of the earth. All the non-Bantu people. We're going to talk about why the name Bantu is scrubbed from the knowledge of many people, and why that is because of the concept of inheritance. We're being bamboozled because the Bana Betu are the inheritance of nSemu down to Melchizedek, down through Abana, nSaka and Yakubi. And because of the incident between Yakubi and Esau, there's the issue of the birthright and the stolen and the thief, as Kimbangu spoke about, as to how the world really functions. Okay, because those of us who know this real truth, we know that the movies like The Wizard of Oz, Black Panther, a lot of these other movies they made, Lion King, a lot of these movies they keep making, X-Men, is a mockery of the Ba Kongo people. Okay, because the people of light and nSemu are supposed to be the ones in charge of everything. And that's why we're going to talk about the position of the Yakubi king, the Bayuda king, and why it was important to control this entity every time. That Tata nZambi set this person up in charge of basically the world. All right, Manakumbase, Imana. I'm gonna play my intro here real quick. Not the speakers. Oh, well, I don't have the speakers, but it should be okay. But it doesn't matter. It's just for me anyway. Once again, I own the rights to this. Not for redistribution of any kind, only for the edification of this child. Symbol are you getting stronger. While they're talking about warp speed now. All praises. I kind of got to cut a little bit short today. Not gonna be too long. Hembo Tata nZambi, Bayeti Tata nZambi and Pungu Father, we come humbly once again before you, that all unrighteous spirits will be blocked. Tata nZambi, Bawadi Kolele, for zonos against the Yaya. We come before the Pema Kalunga, the heavens, the Zulu, the Unkuluntu, ancestors of the Bana Betu, down to Abana, nSaka, Yakubi, Isaele, the ones that you love. We know, Tata nZambi, that this world is indeed been deceived and been taken down by false doctrines and devils that continue to be causing confusion among this world, and has put people in a cycle that they don't even know is taking them into a tailspin, going down in a conditioning mindset to cause destruction and not edification. Tata nZambi, help us to continue to rise up and do the way we should, as we were supposed to be, teaching the way of Tata nZambi and Pungu all this time, as the Kingunza is the way to the salvation, for us to become one with you. King Kongo, hallelujah. We come before you once again. We honor Kusa Kongo Fumo Yisu, the Mwana Velada. We honor the Maliki Makongo, Asalama Maliki Makongo. We honor all of those down to Tata Dama and Mama Eva, who's fought for the Bana Betu to be sold for the Ba Kongo people. Bayet and Kosi Kemba, hallelujah. All right, so today's going to be a very deep topic, talking about the inheritance. Okay, I'm going to the apocalypse of Abana, which they call Abraham. Now we know that was not his name. Abraham really is affiliated with Nimrod and Esau and the Brahma god and all that stuff, and the Hamitic tribes, to put them as the replacement for nSemu. What people don't understand is Shem is really Hashem is really Cain, but and Esau combined but nSemu, which means light, that was the name that Noka gave him, was because he would be one who would teach the Most High's way to bring lights, because we know that the concept of passing the light or nSemu was continued after the flood, from after it was carried onto the ark. Actually, they had it lit during the time, and then it was taken and given to nSemu for him to go and continue to pass this light until Kongo's birth, which he would then become the light, Hanoka. And so Hanoka is essentially the continuation of what took place with the war between the Bana Betu and Greece, when Antiochus came in and destroyed the temple with the pig god, which is why he slaughtered the pig, because that was Yisu. And that's where the concept of worshiping the pig that killed is where his mother made the world worship the pig, and worship the pig because of the pig killing Tammuz, that Tata nZambi sent to destroy him for calling himself the Messiah, which was a lie. Okay, and so this was always about revenge for that. And the world doesn't understand that they're currently worshiping that revenge as they're preparing for these holidays, that this is what they've been dealing with for the last 100-some years since they brought it back, because it used to be outlawed because of the those who knew that it was a Saturnalia of paganism, but it was brought back because of the need to destroy Bantu people. They don't care about anybody else. It's about Yakubi that Esau cares about. And so to get the whole concept of changing the images, of changing our ways, of teaching a false doctrine, was to get Bana Betu to give up what belonged to them. Okay, so the inheritance. We're going to talk about this. Let me share my screen. Again, once again, Kushi Ambote to all of you. This is why you have to really be careful dealing with people who claim not to be in secret societies when they are. The role of a secret society member is always to give back to Cain, to Esau, the inheritance that was given to Abana. Okay, and then that is distributed how they see fit. Okay, so it talks about Abana's conversion from idolatry. On the day when I planned the gods of my father, I'm gonna say the Kongo version should be Tala, and the gods of Nahu, his brother, when I was searching to who the mighty God of truth is. This is what we call Tata nZambi Mpungu Tulendo, or not Tata nZambi Yamazulu. The mighty God is King Kongo. So Nilanini. Abana at the time, when it fell to my lot, when I fulfilled the services, sacrificing my father Tala to his gods, and of wood and stone, gold and silver, brass and iron. This is why they took away they took this part out of the Bible. When it says, I shall make you worship the gods of wood and stone, it should have said wood and stone, gold and silver, brass and iron. This is where they covered it up. This is what should be there. Okay? Because we have bowed down to gods of many different types. Having entered into the temple for the service, entered into their temple. For the service, I found the God whose name was, I'm not going to, this is where you get the word math from, by the way. Like even the same with base math for, what's his name? Esau's wife, hewn out of stone, falling forward on the feet of the iron of the God. Okay, I'm not going to say his name. And it came to pass when I saw it, my heart was perplexed, and I considered in mind that I should be able to bring him back to his place of Abana alone, because he was heavy. Now remember, for those of us that know, Abana is the grandson of Nimrod through his daughter, and this is why he was, like many of us, were tricked into doing idolatry. Okay, because Tala was his technically It was Eber's wife. And if you go back to the lineage of Abraham, or the lineage of Israel, okay, when you go to the chart, and we'll bring it up. Let's see. Where's the best one to go? It's going to show it. Okay. So they start with Torah. Let's go back to Genesis. Genesis 10. And this is very important to understand that, so why people say, oh, well, the Bible was written, and I said, no, this was already in place from the Nkanda that was written by the Ba Kongo people, the Bana Betu. Okay, the Kosa know this. Okay, this was already written. Okay, so this is how they say. We say Yapeta. This is how they say Yapet. Okay. Here's the genealogy of the sons of Noach, which we say Noka, and his light, nSemu, Hama, and Yapet. This is Kami, this is nSemu. We didn't say Shem. Sons were born to them after the flood. The son of Yapet was Gomer, Magog, Madi, Yaban, Tubal, Meshach, and Tidas. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphat, Tugarma. The sons of Yavan were Elishas, Tarshish. Tarshish is Spain, Kittim, and Dodanim. When the islands of the nations were divided into their lands according to his language, according to their families and their nations. Now you see how they don't put the word Gentiles there, okay? But this is the Ngoyin, okay? Or what we call, but Ngoyin also includes the children of Kama. The sons of Kama, Kushi, and this is supposed to be Kamet, not Mitzrayim, Puti, and Kanani. The sons of Kushi were Siva, Havila, Sapta, Rama, Sapkana. Now, I want to make it very clear, and this is why you need to be very careful about the spirit you're talking to. Those under the Kundalini spirit are not going to tell you that this at the time was one continent. Okay? It was not broken apart. There was no Atlantic Ocean when this was being done. Okay? And all of these children are going to be divided into 72 tribes, okay, with 72 languages, and the mother tongue of all these languages was Kikongo. That's why they want to erase that, or Kongololo, okay? These were all Bana Betu. These were all Bantu people, Muntu, because see, Noka was a Muntu, and nSemu was a Muntu, Kami was a Mentu, and Yapeta was a Muntu. Okay? Scratch him and scratch him after their children turned to the gods of Cain. And then the descendants of some of Shem's children, scratch them because they also turned to the gods of Cain. Okay. And then, of course, Noka, the Kenan, okay, this is where you get the word Kenan from. Canaan or Kenani, they are the ones that are trying to take the inheritance by mixing with the children of Edom. Okay. And they are splitting it up with the Hamitic people in that way because Nimrod was their god, their king. Now, let me explain something. nSemu at this time was given the title of King of the Earth by Tata nZambi. Okay? This is why the devil always wants to intervene with this person who is placed in charge of teaching the Most High's way. Okay? Now, Kushi, he was called a god by his son Nimrod. That's how he became a god. And then he called his uncles gods too. Okay? The Kemet people started to call Kemet a god, just like Puti And Canaan was called a god, even though he was told he was supposed to be at the bottom. Nonsense. Okay. So now these names Asur, this is the name of a Babylonian god. Okay. They went out from the land of Nineveh. Nineveh at this time, Nineveh's been rebuilt. Where it is now is not where it was before. Okay, Nineveh was in the one continent. So Kenan fathered Chidon, his first Sidon, Sidon, Yifushi, Emori, Gargish, Gigarshi, the Hivi, the Arki, the Sini. He goes to the land of what we call Sinar, okay. The Arvidi, the Tismari, the Hamati. Afterwards, the family of Kenani were dispersed. The border of Kenani was formed, Sidon. So now, where is Chidon? Chidon is going to be down in Embo. Embo was the whole supercontinent, as I called it. And Kanani's land was down in the sub-Saharan Africa at this time. Okay? This is why they don't want to tell people the truth. Because there was no, when the continents were one, the place that you now call the Middle East was not the same. Okay? The whole purpose of why Tata nZambi did a lot of the things that he did was to put people in their borders where they belonged, to where he ordained it to where certain groups always had certain lands, and that was for them to use for their people. Okay? The concept was when they started worshiping the pagan gods, that's why you said the word pagan, even have the pagan or pagan, they even have a crest. Okay? This is the concept of worshiping gods that are going to make you do the opposite of nZambi and Pungu. Okay? nZambi and Pungu was not the demon. That's what they're making us think he was the evil god, when in reality, they're worshiping the evil god pretending to be him. Okay? And this is why now they don't want the world to understand this, because it's starting to create problems for them, that this is the biggest lie that the world has ever known, is that all the nations knew this stuff before, but it was erased through the indoctrination of when Rome conquered the world, of when God came on the scene, of when the Greeks and all the other things were done, and the history of Africa. They've covered up Africa for a reason, because Africa was the cradle of humanity. I've even talked to a lady, she's like, I know that. And she was white, she's like, yeah, I know this. But at the same time, this is why they're making this big deal about America versus Africa, Asia, Europe, these different things, is the concept is it's all about the inheritance needing to be kept away from the ones who're supposed to have it. Okay? Esau knows he is in charge of the world of Cain, as Set. Okay? He has been raised up by the fallen angels to be above the earth, to rule over the nations, which is never his job. That's the problem. It was always supposed to be Bana Betu of Isaele, who is supposed to be sitting on top of the earth, being in the position of Tata nZambi and Pungu, to ordain the law, statutes, and commandments to how the earth should function. Okay? And this is where they covered all this up. So now, when you go to the children of nSemu, okay? Now, I'm going to go to the Lingala scripture so you can get a better idea of the names of how they really should have been said. Of course, Ebendali is how you say Genesis. I'm going to go to 10, and I'm going to go down to 21. Okay, so we have children also born to nSemu, ancestors, son, either an older brother of Yapeti. Okay, so nSemu, so technically, you're going to say that Kama would have been the oldest. But see, people claim that, oh, in the book of Japheth, Jasher, his name was erased and other things. I'm like, they did this kind of stuff for a reason, okay? That, you know, because they want to confuse the world, okay? So now, the sons of nSemu, okay, you have, I'm going to go down the list. Ilami, see, Azali Koko ya Iberi. So the sons of, you have Ilami, let's see, you have Ilami, Asuri, okay? Ari Paksadi, Ludi, okay? Arami, the Alam, it says in Kikongo, the Alami. The sons of Alami would have been Utsi, Uli, okay? Giteri, Mpe Masi, Paksadi, Sela. See how they added the Ak. The Ak, if you go to Ak, that is a god actually, a false god. Ak is connected to a Canaanite deity. We talked about that in another video. Okay, Iberi. Now you notice they said fathered Ever. This is where they get the word ever from. See how that word is? Ever, okay, ever, forever. You see, because now he is the one that is going to marry Nimrod's daughter, and he get two sons, and one was given the name Peleg in division because during his lifetime the earth was divided. And when we say the earth was divided, it was because Tata nZambi wanted the nations to go back to the 72 places that he put them, and he gave them, and he did this. This is why he even did like the Ice Age and stuff like that. You know, he was creating barriers to keep people from going where they weren't supposed to be. And they kind of covered this up and they turned it into historical facts of science and evolution and all these different things. And of course, the fallen ones would modify the creation and every type of stuff, but they want to cover that up too with these fallen angels. And this is where your so-called evolution was created, when they're actually modified animals, because they continued. Like it's always that concept. Like I said, anything you can do, I can do better, is how the dragon thinks. But at the same time, it's all about perversion. It's all about destroying, perverting, manipulating, modifying anything that Tata nZambi has made perfect. They're going to say, we can make it better. And this is what they do. They call it imperfections. A lot of the imperfections were caused because of curses upon generations of people for doing things they should not have been doing in their historical record. They've just been covering it up. Okay? So now, when you go to, because the division item was divided, his brother's name was Yakton. Yakton was a prince. Okay? Yakton fathered Almadad, Seleh, Hassa, Mavet, Yelak, okay, Siba, Ophir. We talked about where Ophir. Okay, Havilah. That's why people get it mixed up. There's two different Havilah, okay? There's a Havilah that's a descendant of nSemu. And then there's a Havilah that's a descendant of Kushi. See that? You have a Havilah here. That's the one that has South America. And then you have a Havilah here. This is the one that had connections to when we would go down to sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, because at that time, Kushi, the land of Kushi, is where the land of nSemu at that time was most of North America, Eastern Europe, Central America, some portions of South America, because his area was both hot and cold, which means it wasn't too hot, but it was hot and it wasn't always hot, but it was cold too. When we say cold, it wasn't like subterranean or nothing. It was just not hot all the time. It was like just right. Okay. That was his land. You know, all the really hot tropical land, hot heat went to Kushi. And of course, the much cooler environment went to Yapeta. Okay. So now, what people don't understand is you got to know the difference between, because some people had the same names because they're related to each other. So for some reason, and you can tell why this would have happened, because Eber would have been married to Nimrod's lineage, they gave names of the uncle, okay, to some of their children because of the connections they had. And Yovav and all his sons of Yoktan, their territory stretched from Mesa as you cross to the mountain of the east. Now, this is where, if you go, well, it's kind of hard to do it now because this was when it was one continent at one point. But this is where you talk about some of the mountains you see in Europe, okay, belong to nSemu. And then said these were the descendants of nSemu. Now, when you go down to the lineage, now when it says the whole earth was the same language, that's the base language of all the 72 tribes. They cut that out of there because they know this is what they didn't want people to know. Okay, now when you go to the bloodline, okay, so here we go. So you go to Ever, you got Peleg, you got Rehu, you got Siri. Okay, this we're gonna go to the correct. So this is 11. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm showing you how the world has been played, because all of these people, okay, so when I go down to verse 11, you got our Paksadi, then Sela, then you got Iberi, which is what the word they think that, you know, people talk about Hebrew. And you got Pele. If you do it the proper Hebrew way, you drop off the G. This is where you get Pele from. And you know, the nSaka player, he had that name. Okay, Pele, showing you the earth had been divided. Leu would have been how he said Reu. So if you go down to verse Peli, Reu, or Lewu, it'll be Lewu if it's in Kongo. Pele, and then okay, so then you go to this one is Selugi, that's Selugi. Okay, Sima, Selugi, Sima, you see Simo, that's where we get the seed sword. That means he had, you know, his seed is Simana Botama Yeselugi is Lewu. The seed of Lewu is, okay, this is how we do that. Now, and it says after Nakor was born, Sluga lived and now another 200 years had sons and daughters. So we know, like I said, nSemu's people had a lot of different, you know, everybody had sons and daughters. Okay. Now you come down to Tela, lived 70 years, and he fathered Abana, Naho, and Hala. Haran would be pronounced Hala in Kigom. Okay, let's go to 26. Abani, Nahori, and Arani. So you would think that this is most likely where the name Iran can be connected to. Okay, Arani. No, we have the Botaya Terra or Tela. Okay, so now when we go back to this apocalypse, okay, we go down, he broke away, he started to notice that these gods of Nimrod were worthless, which was a problem, okay? Now this time, remember the Tower of Babel's going on. You have Nimrod pretending himself the king when nSemu, this is why he's gonna go. You're going to see that the gods, these gods, they still exist today in the form of this is what was adopted into the Egyptians, this was adopted into the Mesopotamian, this is adopted into many different people. This was adopted into all different forms, okay? Even the Greeks, okay? But people don't understand this. nSemu was the one who was the teacher. Everybody else was copying him and stealing from him, especially the false gods. Okay? So now you see that you go read this. His father gets angry when he's talking about what's going on with the gods. And he starts to realize, and now here's the problem. When he starts to stop making them, he gets taken to Nimrod. Okay? Let's see. And it came to pass, while I spake thus to my father Tela in the court of my house, there came down the voice of the mighty one from the heaven in a fiery cloudburst, saying and crying, Abana, Abana, and said, Here I am. And said, Thou art seeking in the understanding of thine heart the nSemu, the God of gods, and the Creator. I am He. This was Ungubani or Soni Nani starts. Okay. Go out from the father Tela, and go out from the house, also not slain in the sins of thy father's house. And I went out, and it came to pass when I went out that before I succeeded in getting out in the front door of the court, there came a sound of a great thunder and burnt in his house, and everything in the house down to the ground 40 cubits. Okay. Now, so you see that nZambi, he destroyed the house. He burnt down Tala's house. Okay. And then he goes and does the 40 days of sacrifice for the purification that he does. And this is when he has the encounter, the direction of the angel, Maliki, Yaoya. It say Yaoya, but it'd be Jaoya, but it'd be Yaoya Kongo. This would have been a Maliki Makongo. Okay. Mount Horeb, okay. This is why this is a holy mountain, and they put it in the wrong place. This is what eventually would, I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure this is eventually where it would become Mount Kenya. In that area, down in that direction. Okay. or in that vicinity where the mountains were down the Kongo. Okay, so now, when Tata nZambi did this, we'll go to what was called, of course, the legend of the Yaoundé. We're going to go to the translation. We're going to go to the birth. We're going to go to where Abana was given so when Abana attained the age of 20 years, his father Tata fell ill. He spake as follows to his son Halab and Abana. I adjure you by your lives, my son, sell these idols for me. I have not enough money to meet our expense. Now you see, his father fell ill, okay? Halan executed the wish of his father, but if anyone accosted Abana to buy an idol from him, he asked him the price. He would answer 3 mane, which is, you see, mane, which is where we get the money, most likely for the money Congo, which become money now. And then question, how old art thou? 30 years. It would probably be, thou art 30 years of age, and yet thou wouldest worship this idol which I have made but today. So he's already showing you how stupid you are. He's showing people how ridiculous they are for worshiping something he'd made with his own hands. Okay? The man would depart, go his way, another way approaching. How much is this idol? And 5 mane would be replied. And again, Abana would put the question, how old art thou? 50 years. How dost thou, who art 50 years of age, bow down before this idol which was made but today? So he's already brought into question the foolishness of these people. It's like, how do you keep doing this? Okay? So now, the people who heard Abana were amazed, exceeding his word. As he went through the streets, he met an old woman who approached him with the purpose of buying an idol, good and big, to be worshipped and loved. Old woman, said Abana, I know not profit. I know no profit therein, either in the big ones or in the little ones, either unto themselves or unto other gods. And he continued to speak to her. What has become of the big image thou didst buy from my brother Haram to worship it? Thieves, she replied, came in the night and stole it while I was still in the bath. So you see, and this is the common, this is the thing about why in Yisu, he talked about collection of things. You go look at people, you have museums, you have art collectors, you have all these different things, and what are they always trying to put together? A security system for these items that they see as valuable, correct? Because all throughout history, when you look at Rome, you look at Greece, you look at all these other civilizations, theft of idols was common. Okay, so you see it happening here. This is part of the reason why it was important for Tata nZambi to teach his people, do not have these idols. Okay? Don't make graven images, don't do, these different things. Why? Because it turns into something where you value the physical more than the spiritual. This is even the problem that started to happen with the priests, when we had our temple and people would get greedy, okay? They would want certain things for themselves. This is what caused many problems for the Most High, okay? Greed was an issue long ago, okay? And it's still, and that's the whole concept, is the world's living through these lies today because of those who sit up with greed about how they're interpreting the world to you. So they're teaching you a bunch of, how should I say this, fallacies so that they can hang on to what isn't theirs. Never was. Okay? So now we see here but see, the funny part is he's talking about thieves, right? But at the same time, he's worshiping false gods anyway. So even Satan will rob himself so you can keep praying to him. This is why I keep trying to tell you about the messed up system of the whole courts that go back to Canaan and everything, how the devil will act like the sheriff and the judge when really he's tricking you, okay? All right. How is it possible for you to say that the image you worship is a god? If it be a god, why did it not save itself out of the hands of those thieves? Now, this is the whole concept of how you can now say that the religions that they have set up, calling them Abrahamic religions, are false, because even he himself is saying, why would you bow down to a God that can't save himself? Now, remember, this is exactly the same thing that they were tempting Kushi Kongo when he said, why don't you save yourself? And there's people who talk about this even in mockery today. When they don't understand, Kushi Kongo was a sacrificial lamb of the Ipaseka. He wasn't there to save himself. He was there to fulfill the covenant, the Wiza. That's why we say, Yahweh Wiza wa Tusadisa. He was there to fulfill a covenant that was made with Adama through the bloodline that was prophesied by nSemu, one who would come to be the shepherd that never is touched. Okay? Nay, the idol there is no profit, either unto itself and unto all that adore it. The old woman rejoined, it is what thou sayest true, whom shall I serve? Serve the God of gods, returned Abana. The nSemu of nSemu, Lord of Lords, because we know Lords really means Baal of the Baal of Baals. So we're saying, okay? Because Nimrod is Baal, okay? Who have created the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all therein, the God of Nimrod. See, he's telling them, hey, he's the God of Nimrod, okay? And the God of Terah, the God of the east, the God of the west, the God of the who is Nimrod, the dog calling himself a god, that worship be offered unto him. He's calling his grandfather, he's saying, look, my grandfather is foolish. Because I told you, he comes from, that bloodline with Eber and his daughter. My grandfather is foolish, or my uncle, say uncle too. My uncle and my grandfather is foolish to think that he is above the God of gods. Okay? That's why he said, who is Nimrod the dog? Okay? Abana succeeded in opening the eyes of the old woman. She became zealous missionary of the true nSemu. So here he is converting people to the concept already that you are bowing down to false gods. So because of this, and this is what people don't understand, he survives all of the things that Nimrod tries to do to him for not worshiping him, because the problem was, if you don't worship Nimrod and his gods, they're going to kill you. Okay? This is the concept of the spirit that we're dealing with even in the time of Isaele. When Solomon built, remember I showed the temple, okay? When he built this temple, now you're supposed to worship Sol Amon or Nimrod, okay? And this is, people were like, no, we're not going to bow down to this wicked demon. We know who he is. We're not, this is Cain, this is Baal, this is Esau. Okay, we're not going to do this. This created a problem. Because, like I said, in the wisdom, in the Testament of Solomon, Satan and his kingdom builds Tata nZambi's temple. So he gets mad and he turns around and makes Solomon build his. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He challenges the Most High all the time. Okay? Why are you going to make my demons? I'm going to make you do this. Okay? This is where Kingdom of Kongo was so significant, because he's like, I will never do anything that you want me to do, but what my father wants. And the whole concept is, that's why they wanted to kill him. And then he let them do it, so to show him, you cannot kill what is unkillable. I allowed myself to do this, and you thought you killed me? Same type of scenario that happened when Toko, Kimbangu, and all the others, they thought they killed these people and they came back. That's why they don't want to tell this to the people who worship this imposter, the wizard. Okay? The value of the earth is supposed to go to the people who walk in the true righteousness, not in those who walk in wickedness. That's why you now live in a world where you say, man, it seems like the people who do the most dirt benefit the most. Yeah, because the problem is the people who should have been in control of that, we went with them instead. Okay? We went with these entities. Now, of course, with Africa and everybody in South America, when they talk about colonialism and everything, they don't understand is that their own gods did this to them. Because the same gods that they worship are the same gods connected to the white people. This is the lie. Their own gods did it. Because they're all connected to the connection of Canaan, to Canaan, to Puti, to Nimrod and everything. Okay? This is what has happened, that they don't get it. The watchers have enslaved you because you are praying to them anyway. They came black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever they want to form they came into, you believe them. Okay? They come with different names, you know, many names, never different ways. They have similarities. That's why you think they steal. It's like, no, the one with the sword, the hammer, was always the same because he used to be black. Now he's white. Okay, Tammuz turned himself into Thor. Okay, he was a black god. Now he's a white god. Okay? You don't get it. They always were black. And they turned white because they got the same curse like Leper Cain, like the fallen angels who used to be melanated. Okay? Christianity was not created. It was created off of Bantu scrolls. Same with Judaism, Islam, whatever, how you want to call it. Okay? So now, the whole concept of today is, why do people shun this truth or want to reject it? And they made it all about Africa, when the Most High, you can even go to the old maps, it was called Ethiopia, Kathiopia, the whole thing, north and south, okay? King Kongo called it Kathiopia, okay? And in this land was the inheritance of Abana, nSaka, Yakubi. Now, but Abana, because Nimrod at the time, he was calling himself the king of the earth, which was false. Okay? Everyone was bowing down to him. Okay? It was false. The king of the earth was really nSemu. Tell me when Nimrod was chosen, but Tata nZambi used him, when he turned against the Most High, nSemu was the true teacher. That's why when Abana changed, he went back to nSemu and Maleki Sadeki, and he started to teach the real way, like he did here. Okay? So now, when you go down to the judgment, because he saw, the Most High showed him all the creation from the beginning, and then of course he showed him what would become of his seed. That's why they don't teach this one in the churches, because he's going to show you that at the time that the Most High brings the judgment against the earth, his seed is scattered among the heathen. And then he talks about what is going to happen. See, it's the punishment of the heathen and the ingathering of Israel. It's Isaele. Remember, Isis Ron El technically that's Esau, pretending to be Isaele. But while I was still speaking, I found myself upon the earth, and I said, "Oh, eternal mighty one, is the word Tata nZambi, Fumu Yahweh. I'm no longer in the glory of which I was on high, and what was so long to understand my heart, I do not understand." I have experienced this, people. I can tell you, I have seen many things about a lot of things that people don't get. He said, "What is desired in thy heart, I will tell thee, because thou hast sought to see the 10 plagues, which I have prepared for the heathen. I have prepared for beforehand at the passing of the 12th hour of the earth." You're in the 12th hour. You don't get it. Okay, we've been in the 12th hour. "Hear what I divulge to thee. So I called to pass the first pain of great distress, the second, conflagration of many cities." When you know what these mean, okay, what is pain of great distress? Suffering, problem, issues, having, worry, no peace, okay? City conflagrations. This is why you have communities that can never come together, that's always dealing with cops getting called to deal with issues, protests, and all these different things. They all are part of what these these beings are part of, okay? The hunger of the whole world and of its people. Okay, you get famines. This is the whole concept, because as Tata nZambi is bringing forth these judgments, the imposters are trying to run interference, so you don't know that you're actually under a curse. And then they come up with excuses as to why. This is where they came up with the whole concept of the weatherman. They came up with the whole concept of plate tectonics, of volcanic activity. These scientists, they work for the fallen ones, period. Okay? The fifth by destruction as rulers. So this is why you're seeing Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping and Putin and everybody, Erdogan and all these other people fighting against, Biden and everything. Okay, this is part of the whole concept. Why are these nations fighting each other? Okay, but the biggest secret about that is, the problem is, when they did this, Esau said, "But I am Jacob." Okay, the Most High has a problem with that, because it's like, no, this is a liar. I can't stand this one. Is this one I love, but look this is the one that loved me, rejected me. Okay? And the destruction, the ninth, the punishment of the sword, and the flight and distress, the 10th, thunder and voices and earthquake. People keep talking about, what are these strange noises we keep hearing in the earth with these booms, in different cities. They say, oh, what are these loud booms and everything? Because the Tata nZambi has said, okay, those who worship idols, let your idols save you, because you will have no peace. Of course, then that makes him look like the bad guy, but what you don't understand is, it's not that he's the bad guy, is that you chose, just like what happened with Abana, when he rejected the idols, he said, you chose to go back to idol worshiping because you're believing the spirit of Cain is true. You're believing that the spirit of Cain is telling you the truth. when everything that they're teaching you has a truth and a lie to it. You're sending your people to schools set up by Cain. Education set up by Cain. Businesses set up by Cain. Law enforcement set up by Cain. All these different things set up by Cain. How? Because that is who conquered the earth. Esau and Cain are one spirit. Okay? However, the inheritance wasn't supposed to go to Cain, because Nimrod was also the spirit of Cain. Who was it supposed to go to? The descendants of nSemu through Abana, because Tata nZambi said, these people are supposed to be, this is the promise I made with them. Okay? This is what the world doesn't understand is you are living in the fallacy. Okay? That what they have done is by you keeping the inheritance away for those who are in cahoots with this, they're buying you off. This is what we call sellout concept. Okay? They're going to give you your piece of land based upon however you save your money. There's, these different things. Okay? Make you feel comfortable. I can become a millionaire and this and this and that. But there's a price to pay that they're not telling you. Some know it, some don't. Okay? You are assisting in the destruction of the one that should be giving you salvation. That's part of it. And two, you think you're talking to the God that brings salvation when you're really talking to the God that brings confusion and destruction. That's why King Kongo had to say, I am not the God of confusion. The other one is. So if you're living in a world confused, that is who you're talking to. Okay? If you're living in a society of distress, we're with the God that brings distress. Okay? And then I will sound the trumpet out of the air, and I will send mine elect one. This is even when he's talking to Abana. My elect one who comes from his loins, correct? Okay? Having in him all my power, one measure, and this one shall summon my despised people from the nations, and I will burn with fire those who have insulted them and who have ruled among them in this age. This is the reason why the imposter gods made it look like the converted Phoenicians, as Hittites, as Canaanites, as Edomites, they're the ones called Khazarian people. Oh, these are the hated people. This is coming from the wicked ones, okay? When in reality, no one was despised more, they say black people, than the Negro, than the Bana Betu of Isaele. We are the most despised people on the planet. This is the whole reason why they had to create the concept of race. This is why we're mocked as apes, as gorillas, as chimpanzee. Mocked. The name nZambi is mocked zombie. Okay, the King Kong, the gorilla, the mockery. Okay, and they know that this is the concept that they have tricked the world into thinking, oh, we're the one that despise when we really despise the Ba Kongo people. Because when we say That's why they don't want you to know the real Jesus was Congolese. Bantu, Ba Kongo, Bena nZambi, Bena Isaele, Ba Kongo. They don't want you to know the children of Bana, nSaka, Yakubi are Ba Kongo, Congolese. Okay? Why? Because it's about the inheritance. The inheritance. They're making the people who's supposed to have the inheritance pay on their own inheritance, using their own money against them. Like I said, there's plenty of gold and silver and diamonds and whatnot, okay? The Ba Kongo people were never the nation that was poor, according to Tata nZambi, unless we were sent into a captivity and scattered. Then the other nations would rise up in power. They have known that this is the concept that keeps going for centuries, for generations. When we are scattered, the other nations prosper. When we are back together, they go down, we come up. But they have erased this concept from the people that they have now taught this knowledge to. Okay? So in this prophecy, he's talking to Abana, okay? He knew this was going to happen long time ago, that the Ba Kongo people would be scattered in the 12th hour, which is what happened in the 500 years ago, okay? This is the role that the Spanish Inquisition played for us, okay? And I will give those who have covered me with mockery to the scorn of the coming age, and I have prepared them to be the food for the fire of Hades, for the ceaseless flight to and fro through the air and the underworld beneath the earth. Okay? This is why they knew all along, beforehand. You think they didn't know what was coming for us? But they're acting like this is all something that just happened. The historical record, this and that, slavery, whatever, you know, these things. That's why that's why the whole Emancipation Proclamation, when Tata nZambi orchestrated us to come off of the plantations, the purpose of that was to prepare us to go back. Which is why at that point in time, it was important to use the adversary of Sol Invictus, of Amun-Ra, to keep us from returning to the way, Abantwei. Use our own people against us so that the inheritance stays in the hands of Set. And then we buying you off. Okay? So now, when you look at what took place, the whole purpose of Kimbangu, Toko, even like when Kempavita was talking about this, and Gangan Zumbi, okay? The concept is the Christian world doesn't understand that they have played a role in stealing the inheritance for Set. And Nimrod and Baal and all the Ishtar and everybody else and the Anunnaki and all these other gods, Because that's the whole concept. The demon, that's why when I showed a picture, you know, they finally bringing out all the people that were taking pictures with demons that were, you know, and whatnot, back in the 1920s and 1900s and all these other things that showed up, okay? We told you, they dropped the veil down so that the world wouldn't know that you're still being manipulated by these false gods, okay? And they changed the history. And they created the scientific concept so that when you discover things, you'll have an excuse. Oh, this is that, this is that, this is that. That nZambi brought fire down to kill these false animals in the past. That's why they cover up the giant animals that were created that turned into stone and everything, and the giants and everything that got turned into stone by Tata nZambi. They cover this up because then you're going to validate the people. You see, if you tell people the truth, then it's going to then you're going to find out, wait a minute, something is wrong. Well, then where is this power among us now, as those who follow the Creator? When you demonstrate the true power of the Creator, it destroys the illusion of those who think they have power. Okay? So you have to hide these things. Oh, the Most High did stuff like this, he did that. They don't know that all the snowstorms and the hurricanes and the tornadoes are really him. Because you have something that belongs to him. But they're not telling you that. And you're misteaching things, okay? This is the whole concept. And our own people have become manipulated by the agenda that was always about keeping the inheritance away from those who are supposed to be using it the right way, because we wanted to act like how it was back in the days of Noka, okay? Oh, we're gonna go chill with Cain and them, okay? We never learned this concept. For those who follow Tata nZambi's way, we never learned to quit worshiping the ball gods. This is our problem. This has always been the world's problem. Because they manifest themselves in so many different ways to trick people. You see? Because they don't want to see the Yakubi king sitting in that seat. The Yakubi king, as Tata nZambi ordained it, okay, that individual is not just in charge of the 12 kingdoms of Kongo, the 12 tribes in Kanda, but is also responsible for how the world operates. That's how it was. Solomon wasn't just the king of Isaele, he was the king of the world. So was Davidi. When Davidi sat on the throne, that's why they want to make sure, because of the whole concept of the white mentality that they was brought, when they don't even know that this is all something that was that was fabricated over the last 600 plus years, okay? White dominance did not exist the way they think it did, okay? Rome was played a role in this, okay? But it has to do with the fact that these people, they are the way they are because their ancestors were doing wicked things. That really wicked things. This is why you even see this going on in the bloodline today. When you say, what is wrong? Why are these people doing this stuff? Because that's who they are. They just don't remember. They learn how to behave from the people who were taught to behave. Us, we raised their children. We were the maids, the people who had the law were teaching people how to behave with the law. So now they think it was always there when it really wasn't. No, they didn't know how to behave. They just went according to whatever it was, whatever gods that they were talking to. Christianity supposedly fix this. No, Christianity was corrupt the whole time. People don't get this. Okay? So now, what people don't understand is they have made it look nice and keep up with appearance over the last 100 years. This is the thing that has happened is it morphed from the way it was to the way it is. Christianity was never a religion about saving people, but about conquering people. It really was. And Islam had the same mentality, and Judaism was the same way. Okay? Control. When you go look at the historical record, that's why they don't want to teach that. Okay? They made it look like these are the pagans and we're saving you from paganism, when in fact, they were pagans trying to save pagans. You can't do that. But see, the people who run it, they know. Okay? It's all about wealth. Who has it, who doesn't. And the concept was the Ba Kongo people are never supposed to control it ever again. That's what they don't want. The Ba Kongo, Bena nZambi, Bena, Isaele, Bana Betu, they should never control the wealth ever again. Okay? So now, just to finish up, it goes back to the whole concept when they did the New World Order, but then it goes back to what he said in Malachi 3. Actually, we're going to go back to here. Now we didn't call Hua in, but it was nZambi, the priest. This command is for you. If you won't listen, if you won't pay attention to honoring my name, says, we didn't say Adonai Chava, but Tata nZambi and Ba Kongo, then I will send the curse on you. I will turn your blessings into curses. Now, this is going to start becoming more evident. Jacob's trouble, we know, started when King of Kongo was, it was always going on, but the trouble really started when we went back to Baal. So we weren't honoring the Creator. So curses were falling upon our people. The leaders of our people, they were buying time by becoming involved with secret societies. But you have to always give the fallen angels something in return for that. Okay? Then I will send curses upon you. I will turn your blessing curses. Yes, I will curse them. Because you pay no attention, I will reject your seed. I will throw dung in your faces, the dung from your festival offerings, and will be carted off with it. Then you will know that I sent this command. So this is why and this is the truth, the fallen ones, they know this. Because we participate in the wrong festivals and the wrong teachings, and we participate in the things we should not, we come with dung on our faces back to the Most High. We come dirty, filthy, stinky, unclean. This is one of the reasons why, they made it to where you just eat whatever, okay? Which wasn't always true, okay? This is why they want you to participate in the things that they have created for people that they call good, clean family fun, when this makes the Most High mad. You don't get it. Just because it looks good to you doesn't mean the Creator agrees. No. Okay? Then you will know that I sent this command to affirm my covenant with Levi, says Tata nZambi and Pungu. My covenant with him is one of life and peace, and gave in these things, It was also one of fear, and he feared me, that he was in awe of my name. The true Tula, they said Torah, Tula was in his mouth, and no dishonesty was found upon his lips. So you got to understand something. When you pervert the law, statutes, and commandments by not becoming, because Levi is connected to the spiritual temple of Kongo. So now when you go and you start preaching teachings that are modified, or you start preaching another version of the Most High's way to people, you are actually insulting Levi, okay? And he knows who comes from his bloodline and who isn't. That's how he knows that Seth, aka Esau, is pretending to be him now. That doesn't fly with the Most High. No way. It doesn't go. So you have all these other Christians out here. They're just living. They're living in the constitution of their minds. They're living in the concept of what they believe is true. And what happens is they don't understand that the 7 churches, which are supposed to be one, all these denominations out there are insulting the priests. You cannot teach but one way when it comes to the 12 tribes, the 12 kingdoms. No, there's only one way. And they think that when they have the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, they think they have the 100% truth. No, they do not. They have the wizard's interpretation of what he remembered when he walked with the disciples. That's why you have, like I said, Matthew's written in the 3rd person. All right, so now, through the true Torah, which is in his mouth, that's why I told people, you don't all, they talk about, oh, the Bible, the book. No, we don't throw it away, but we know, okay? But where is the word of the Creator supposed to be? In here. So when you are nZambi, when you are priests, okay, or Kohanim, whatever the Hebrews said Kohanim, whatever you want to call this, a Yiddish that goes back to Ashkenaz and all that, it's fine. Okay, when you say these things, okay, if you are not with the Mwanda, the Ruach Kodesh, the Holy Spirit, the true Spirit, then guess what? Then the word is not in your mouth. It's only on the paper. This is the issue of how you can teach knowledge versus not having the knowledge. For those who have it and those who do not, and those who have been given the opportunity to talk about it. My responsibility, as I have told you, is to get people to understand. Bana Betu of Isaele never needed to be taught anything by anybody. We are the ones that keep messing up in the Bible that they're reading. We are the ones that caused all of that. And we did it again. That's why now they have a modified version of our scriptures, thinking that they have now received the blood of Christ when they're talking to Cain. The Christ that they're talking to is the imposter, the false Messiah. And he keeps talking about, oh, Antichrist, this false Messiah here. He's the one. He's tricking these people. You've been teaching the sorcerer. Okay? But you turned away from the path. You caused many to fail. And the Tula, you corrupted the covenant of Lewi. Therefore, I have turned and made you contemptible and vile before all the people. That's what happened when nZinga went to Rome and said, I am now a Catholic, a Christian, because the Catholic Church was already pagan, was already defiled, and was not pure. No. Neither were the other churches. They were all being messed up. Kongo, the Moni Kongo was the Yakubi placeholder. He was ordained and he was put in place for the Pope, those kings. But what did they start to do? The Kundalini spirit getting in there with the people who are arguing, those priests. This is who he's talking about. Those who call themselves the priests in those days, they were corrupted, even though they knew the truth. Don't we all have the same Father? Didn't one God create us all? Then why do we break faith with each other, profaning the covenant of our ancestors? This is what the Ba Kongo people, the Bayuda, Bena, Isaele, this is what we have done. We have broken the covenants of all of those who came in the bloodline. And we selling out each other all day long. For what? For paper. That's worthless when we had gold. You look at the value of the Congolese currency. We'll look it up. Let's look at it. Look at one Congolese franc compared to the US dollar. This is what Tata nZambi is talking about. The Kingdom of Kongo Abantuwei, 500 years ago, was worth way more than the United States of America is today. This is the lie. This would have been the flip, opposite. The US dollar, it would be the opposite, according to how Tata nZambi sees the worth of the Ba Kongo, of the Bana Betu, of the Isaele. This is what Esau Set has done to the Bantu people. Poor. We became Putu. As we learned, the word Putu means poor. Okay? Let's look at it. Well, they say, unsukami, yakukonda umbongo. We became poor compared to the other nations. And then for those of us who now live in the so-called American way, what did you have to do to get that money? It's not the same as how the Most High works. No, sir. Tata nZambi pays his people according to your obedience of the job that he gives you to do for him. King Kongo paid us how? By doing the work. His work is never the same as Amun-Ra. No. Never. His work is never the same as Esau or Baal or Nimrod or any of these gods. Abana, and Abraham, you want to call him, he would never Never. Never bow down to the idols that Christianity has created. No. He knew that this is the wrong Messiah. Long time ago, the Most High showed him this. They're going to go and they're going to use the loins and they're going to mess it up. They did. He knew that when the fulfillment of the prophecy that would happen with Esau and Jacob, when he said he'll break his yoke from his brother, that would mean that you would worship Esau as a god. That's what happened. Yakubi would now worship Esau instead of the other way around. You would worship the gods of Esau instead of you worshiping the gods of Isaele. Your God would become wicked, his God would become righteous. This is how it went down. And all he did is the whole world is worshiping the god Set again, like it was in Egypt. Period. That's your soul in Vic, that's your Amun Ra, that's your what do you name? God Almighty, Lord, Allah. Okay? And that's how, and he's leper Cain in spirit. So the images got changed to leper Cain and how leper Cain modified his children, the bloodlines, by getting them to act like how he did, bowing down to idols. Yeah, this is what changed them. Okay, many of them. All right. Zola Quingi and Sambololo in the Wiza of Ba Kongo Abantuwei. I'm going to put a song on. Hope you can hear it. Let me make sure that this thing messes up sometimes. Get the song I want. Remember, I do not own the rights to this song. It's for the redistribution. There was a song I wanted to play. I heard it. It may not come out very. Let me put the speakers on for this one. It's gonna give you where the word king comes from. I was like, whoa. I was listening to this yesterday. It's not, this recording is kind of, it wasn't great, but it's a really good, it gives you a really good beat. And it has see, there go Chilombo right there. And he's supposed to be running the world. he's a Ba Kongo, he's a Moni Kongo. And the Moni Kongo is supposed to be in charge of all the tribes of Noka from the Bible. They don't understand that. No, it's not real loud. Kingi, yeah, yeah. See? Kingi, yeah, yeah. Kingi, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. The king, you're talking about the nZambi and Kongo, King Kongo, and Yabe. Like I said, the president of the Kingdom of Kongo is supposed to be like the Pope. He's supposed to be, that's why when he brought the Pope down to the nZambi, was like, what? You above him. Yeah. That's why people are going to find out. When the Most High get, he's going to tell Chilombo. Chilombo is who the Messiah is. Chilo. That's his name. And Fumu Yisu Chilombo. Chilo. Shiloh. Chilo. This is what he learned. That's why they killed Patrice Malumba. Because that's what Toko was telling him. You're supposed to be the king of Zulu. You're supposed to be replace the Pope like me. We're supposed to be on top. Yeah. That's why Esau got a hold of Mobutu. No, don't do that. We're gonna, yeah. Because they sitting in Banza Congo. In Banza Congo is Salama. It's Salama. In Banza Salama, the city of peace. Yeah. Why do you think they started a civil war in Congo in 1974? The year I was born, by the way. What do you think I'm here to do? To tell the Ba Kongo people, hey, stop with the nonsense. The Bana Betu are scattered across the whole earth. And they mocking our God. Than us. We are the descendants of Abana and nSaka and Yakubi, Isaele. We were the ones that nZambi said, you get the inheritance. Like I said, Esau was a Ba Kongo man. He telling people a lie. The God sent Egypt. He was a Bantu. Ba Kongo, Bena, Bena, Isaele. He wasn't, he wasn't Bena, Isaele. That's his brother, okay? He's the one that the two king, the world is divided like that. And the Ba Kongo people went into captivity and they're trying to keep us from coming home. You see? So the people of the scriptures that these people reading in the church every day is the God of the Ba Kongo people. That's who he is. Tata nZambi and Pungu. That we read in the Congolese Bible, in the Congo, in the Ba Kongo. That was the language of Abraham. Kikongo, Lingala. Oh, what he did? He didn't speak no Ishmaelite stuff. Arab, no. Allah. He didn't pray to Allah, no. Abana never prayed to Allah, he prayed to King Kongo, to nZambi and Kongo. Hey, that's who he was praying to. That was the God of nSemu. Hallelujah. All praises. I'll put it in the chat if you couldn't hear it. But like I said, that's why they want to always put, and even now, the wizard want to put somebody in. He knows he was black. Okay? That's why I told people, be careful just because they say, oh, he was white, now he's black. Nimrod was black. That's why they do the black Santa Claus. They don't even know that's why. The black Santa Claus is Nimrod, now he's black from white. The white Santa Claus is after he became a leper. The black Santa Claus is what he was before. Okay? Anyway. All right, Wakanda. Zola Kwingi and Sambulolo. In a wizard Yabe Kongo Kutwala. Salakyambote. Remember, sorry for the noise. Remember, Ungubani, know who you are, but also understand not everybody is in the right way. Just because they call themselves a Bantu doesn't mean they're good. Just because they call themselves from Tata nZambi, or they're calling them Tata nZambi now, that doesn't mean that they're not still worshiping Amun Ra in secret. Okay? We need to know the Kindoki is going to be exposed, people. It's going to continue to come down. Anyway, Zola Kwingi Sambolola. Ingeta.